Hi, how are we today? One thing I've been thinking of is saying the date at the start of my videos. So today is Wednesday and it's the 31st of January, I think. Third is Saturday. So it must be the 31st of January. Helps if I know the date if I'm going to tell you the date, isn't it? So here we are with the one of a kind journal. I backed the video back up. I had moved my cameras on my last two videos are very close up. So I moved it back up a bit today. So hopefully that's a bit better for you. And I'm thinking about the process, how I'm going to put this first picture in. I did think about putting it on the front page, but I think I'm going to put a little story here on some sort of card. And because it's a thick book and I've only got that one signature, it's quite rounded as it's open, so the photo's not going to lay flat, and I'll tell you why that's a bit of an issue for me for this one. A lot of my photos with two kids together are landscape, which means the photo faces this way and the long side is along the bottom. A portrait photo is not a portrait of kids, because technically that's a portrait of kids. Portrait photo sits this way. So this photo here is portrait, where the long side is vertical or goes up the sides. So that's portrait. This is landscape. So this photo book, journal, junk journal, whatever you want to call it, won't fit a landscape photo because they pop off the page, of course. So the photo is going to have to sit this way. And I thought, rather than having to turn the book and look at the photo, I'll make it so you turn the photo and then you see the photo the right way up, like this. So I'm just going to bring you along and take you through my thought processes, because I haven't worked out exactly how I'm doing it. I've got a bit of an idea in my head. So I have this piece of card. I did originally think I would use paper, because I need to try and keep what I attach in here reasonably as thin as possible, but I want to make sure it's nice and strong, so decided to use some actual scrapbooking card for this. So I'm only going to have a small edge, so we're going to leave the edge like this, and I will cut down this side here. So I'm just going to place it on my mat here with the line that I want to cut, so that I get a little border around the photo. And I'm only going to cut this side to start with. So I got my knife. This one's a Scotch knife, and it's a really good one. I like this one. The shape of it's nice to cut with. Just make sure you hold your ruler tight and push your blade right up against the metal ruler. You need a metal ruler. If you use a wooden ruler, you end up cutting into the ruler and making all sorts of mess. So there we go. When I've cut with a knife, it's a bit different to cutting. When you cut on machines, you don't sort of get an edge. When you cut with a knife, you often get this little bit of a raised edge. And so if that's annoying me, I'll just run my thumbnail along it to just flatten it so all the sides look the same. So my photo fits on here. So then I thought I'm going to use a brad as my turning point. And I'm trying to find flattish brad. So I've got this little heart. My fingers are disgusting. I was doing a lot of painting stuff, arty stuff last night, so they're terrible. And I have washed them, but you know, that's where they are. Always wash your hands when you're starting on a project that you want to look really nice. So they are washed and they are clean, even though it doesn't look like it. So I've got this brad, which is a little heart, and it's quite flat. It's not very raised. So I'm thinking that'll do the job. And I don't want to poke it right through that paper, because I don't want the brad on this side, because I'm not sure what decorations are going on there. So I don't want to be able to see the legs. So what I thought I would do is, this is going to sit approximately there. Now what I want to do is put I'm thinking the brad would probably sit about here. I'm just going to draw roughly in pencil so you can see what I'm doing. And then I want to just design a little curved edge here. So if I'm just putting it on here roughly for now, so I've got an idea of where it needs to go. So as long as I don't go on this side of that line and do my design on this side of the line. Now if you've got a die cut, you could run that through a die cut machine, but I don't know if I probably do have one, but I'm not going to worry about that now. But also what I'm going to need to do is I need to reinforce it to make sure it doesn't break apart. So I don't have any, what do you call them, hole reinforcers. So I'm just going to make it myself. So I'm going to actually put quite a decent size hole. So this one, which is, this is a Fiskars punch. So this hole's about, well, this ruler is not very good for measuring with. It's really hard to see, but let's see what we can do. Maybe 6 or 7 millimeters, or so it's that 1/4 of an inch. It's about 1/4 of an inch. Now I'm just going to punch it in this spare bit of card here because I'm not sure if that's going to be too big. No, I think that'd be quite good. So what I'm going to do is cut a few circles so I can lay them up so they're nice and strong. So I'll cut this one in the middle, and then I'll cut this, I'm pretty sure is a 1-inch one for the outsides. Oh no, it's 3/4 of an inch for the outside of the circle. So it's going to look like a circle reinforcement. Yeah, there's little stickers you put on, but it's actually going to be bigger. And if I put a couple of layers together, then that should reinforce this hole quite well. And then I've got this little flower, which I thought I might put on the top, but I'm thinking it's actually going to be smaller than a circle, so it might look a bit odd. But we'll see where we go there. I do have a bigger flower I can use, so we'll see what happens. First, I need to work out how I'm going to do this so this looks nice. You could get a big plate or something to draw a semicircle. What have I got? Oh, look at that. That's probably just about perfect. So I want to make sure the edges are above that line there. My voice is going croaky. That's weird. There we go. How nice is that? That's just perfect. I love it. Works really. This is a plain coaster. So I got them in a pack of 4. Either at Spotlight or Bunnings, I can't remember which, to be decorated up as coasters, but obviously I haven't done that yet, so that just sits off to the side there for the time being, waiting for me to do something. So I'm going to cut, this is the size of my circle, and if the brad is on that little point that I have there, and I'm going to use this, it's not going to go over that edge, so yep, that'll work quite well. So we're going to cut. Now you're trying to cut curves, try and stay smooth. So move, well at the moment I'm sort of moving the scissors mostly and moving the card a little bit. Usually when you're fussy cutting, if you move your paper, it actually works a bit better. But just doing a bit of both. I'm actually really happy. I've been cutting quite a lot of curves lately, so my hand cut curves are actually turning out quite smooth. So it does prove practice does help. I was going to say practice that makes perfect, but it's not perfect, but it's close enough. So that's going to sit on there like that. So that's a perfect size for that page. So I'm just going to cut this little punch. I'll try and cut it over that pencil mark. There we go. So there's that one. So my brad's going to sit on there, and it's a heart brad, which is a decent size. So I'm pretty sure it's going to cover that hole. Yes, it does. See, good idea to check, make sure. There's lots of wiggle room in there, which doesn't bother me because it's going to make that easier to turn. Now I want to put the legs go on this side, and then the circle bit that's on the bottom is going to be stuck down because that needs to move. So my circle underneath needs to be free flowing. So I will cut 2. I have some scrap card here of the same colour. 2. I might just cut 4 of these. There's a circle punch. I do them upside down. You can see where you're punching. You waste less paper, and if you've got something you're actually cutting out in particular, then you can see what you're doing. I'll just get rid of this one because that's just a thick paper. So if I put 2 underneath together, just thinking how this is all going to work, what I might do is actually, I was wondering if I want the hole as big in the bottom, because it's only this card that's turning. So no, I think the hole that I put in underneath I'm going to keep fairly small. So we'll glue these 2 together. Then I'm going to glue the other 2 together. So this is how I work stuff out. I watch a lot of YouTube. Watch videos, get an idea, and then I just run with it. Usually rush in and just try and do it. And then you learn along the way. So that's going to be stuck down. So this can move. And the brad will go through that and the legs will be underneath. Now I want to strengthen this hole here. So I'm going to cut a hole out of this piece of card. And I might actually do 2 of them. I'll put one on the top, one on the bottom. And I'm not too worried that that's showing at the moment, because I'm thinking I'm going to put a flower on top. So I'm just going to glue these on so that the hole is in the middle, and make sure I get the glue right up to that middle, because the glue is going to help strengthen the card so it doesn't split. So I just put that one over the hole like so. Just push it down from the other side so I get less glue on my fingers. And then this one on the bottom, that's going to strengthen our hole. That's why I get messy fingers. I use them a lot. If you don't like glue on your fingers, you can use some sort of glue spreader. You can get these silicone brushes at most of the cheap shops or dollar stores these days. That's silicone, and you can use that to pull the glue around. But I'm a messy bugger, so I just get my fingers all messy, and then I need to go and wash them regularly so that I don't make my work dirty. Usually I have a rag next to me, but I haven't got that prepared today, so we'll leave that. So that's going to sit on there. So next I wanted to see this flower punch that I have here. I don't think it's going to be big enough, so what I'm going to do is just cut one first. These are Stampin' Up punches. Brilliant quality. They are really good. I advise, if you're buying punches, that you buy good quality ones, because they'll last you for years. Cheap ones fall apart and they don't cut very well. So the Stampin' Up ones that I have, they cut brilliantly. This one I picked up on Amazon and quite surprised at how good it is actually. So yeah, it is definitely worth spending a bit more money. So this little flower, I don't know if you can see there. So what I'll do is I'll just cut that flower in a different colour, because we want to add, we don't want the flower to be the same colour as the circle. I'm just going to show you that flower sits perfectly within the circle. So each little petal goes to the edge of the circle. But my circle's not in the middle. So what am I going to do there? I know. I can hold that there. draw around it on the back so I can see where to punch my hole. Now nature's not perfect, so nature's holes aren't necessarily in the middle of the flower, and that's my excuse, and I'm running with it. So we still got plenty of edge around there to protect it, and I've got the other piece under there protecting that, so that will sit just nice, and my brad goes in the middle, so then it's like in the middle of the flower, and the brad actually is to the top of the heart, so having the uneven circle actually works quite well, because so I'm pretty happy with that. So we'll glue this little flower down, which is really nothing but a bit of decoration, and also adds a little bit of strength to the hole there. Now the heart's going to be sitting up that way. Oh, I can't choose where I put this, can I? Because I need to line it up so the petals all end up in the right place. So there we go. So that's just a piece of scrapbooking paper that I've punched that flower out of. So this will go through here. So this can turn, and then the brad will go through here, and the legs will come out the other side, and then I can glue this spot down onto there. So that should make a nice anchoring. So I'm going to punch a hole in the middle of this, but I'm just going to push it through with an awl. And I really need to get myself a piece of foam for using these awls, because it's, especially when you're going through two pieces of cardboard. Oh, don't prick your fingers while you're doing it. It's actually quite tough to get it through. One day I'll learn, maybe. So I push my little, whoops, brad's going to go through here first. And I want to make sure this is all going to work before I glue it down. Oh, that's actually quite tough to get through those holes. I've probably gone off camera there. There we go. They're bent. It's bent. Bent my little legs. See if I can get them back into shape. They're a bit, they're not very tough, these legs. So what I might do, just get my knife. Just going to make a little slit on each side of that hole, because your legs are flat pieces, they're not round. So it'll work. They should push. There they go. Nice and easy now. So that will sit there like so. And then you can turn this. See? Look at that. How cool is that? So what I'm going to do, that I want the heart to sit there. So I want to hold this where I want the heart to sit. Then I'm going to put some card. So let's just grab a couple of bits of paper that I've got sitting here. And I'm put that between here on both sides. And the reason for that is, I'm going to use two thicknesses, so I've got a decent, that just gives it a little bit of wiggle room, so the brad legs aren't tight up against there. I don't know if you know what I mean, but just leaves a little bit of room in there, so that allows this piece of cardboard to turn nice and easily. So then all that's going to be attaching this to here is this little circle. So it needs to be nice and strong. So hopefully it works. Well, I don't expect this book to be looked at and read 5,000 times. So as long as it works, 50 times, who knows? I don't know. So I'm going to actually put some glue. This little piece spins really well. Put some glue, then I'm going to put a piece of double-sided tape. This orange stuff. This is just sits here because the side actually gets quite sticky, so it's just sitting on there. It actually came with that stuff on it, so I'm just going to use a little piece. This is that really strong stuff. Now you'll watch me get glue all over my fingers, but that's okay. I'm used to that. Good at getting messy. I'm going to stick that on there and a piece on the other side, because what it's going to do is going to hold it in place until the glue dries. Because I've made a big mess there, just going to wipe my fingers off, and I'm going to use the awl to get the top piece of the tape off, which might not be that easy because it's just going to come up on the glue, but we'll get it. There we go. Take the photo away. And my photos of my kids. I love photography, and I do a fair bit of it. Oh, there we go. Fair bit of photography. Love taking portraits, love taking photos of animals, love doing nature photos. I love my photos. I look back at some of these photos now and I think, ooh, they're not the greatest. But you know what? It doesn't matter. They're my kids. They bring back memories for me, and they are perfect for me. If I could go back and redo them with all the knowledge I have now, I would. So, you know, getting professional photos, I think, is a really good idea if you can afford it. If you can't afford it, do your best. You'll still love the photos. So I'm just going to approximate where that's going to sit, and then press this down. This paper under here. What am I doing? I can't even see. I can't see what I've done. This paper under here is very textured paper. So you need to, oh, it's holding. Make sure I press this down really hard. I might actually get my little bone folder in here. And believe it or not, a bone folder actually really helps. It surprisingly puts a lot more pressure on than you can just do with just your hands. Well, I don't know. Who knows? There we go. That's so cool. I love it. I love it. That's amazing. All I need to do now is put my photo on here. And just like yesterday, I don't have my smaller double-sided tape, so I'm going to be using my big double-sided tape. Doesn't matter. All gets used one day, doesn't it? So you can see the old tape on here. I had corners on there where I've had it in a photo album. I don't know if you know, but in the older days, and I'm sure a lot of people remember, the old photo albums that we used to have with the sticky pages, and you used to stick your photos in there, and they had a piece of plastic that folded over the top to protect them. Really great idea, but the majority of them weren't acid free. So if you had your photos sitting on that sticky for all those years and you forgot about it, your photos would start turning yellow and funny colours, because the glue that was on the sheets would react to the photos and change them. So the more acid free you can get for where you put your photos, the better. So this cardboard's scrapbooking card. The majority of scrapbooking card is acid free, and my photo is not touching any glue or anything, so it should be nicely protected. There we go. So that sits in there like that. I like that. I just had a big clip on these pages to hold them back while I worked. That I've never actually done that. That works really well. It's really good. So there we go. And now I can put a journaling spot here, and you close the tag and it'll be tucked away. And if you wanted to get even more tricky, you could write on the back of this tag, and it's an even more secret spot, because most people wouldn't think to go looking on the back of the tag. So I really like that, and that'll just sit nicely in there. Falls down a little bit, but that's okay. Yep, works well. So all my photos that are supposed to be landscape, I'm going to make them either so on a turn thing like this, or in a pocket, or in a belly band, so you can see them in the right way without having to turn the book around. That's that one. How many minutes are we at? I don't even know. I'm just going to keep going, I think. So the next photo I have here, funny story. So